right, the return of Dark Magician is finally happening. Make sure you guys smash the little crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oscar. I think that this has been one of the most pleasurable metagame analyzations that we have recently seen, and I think it's really, really cool to see all of the love that is happening right now around Dark Magician. Out of the early stages of the meta developing here, with all of the crazy good stuff with the overframe cards, one thing has been pretty consistent. Players are trying out Dark Magician as a pure deck again. That means Magician's Rod, the Chaos Max to jam out the opponent. It's pretty strong, actually. The new Dark Magical Curtain was probably one of the strongest interactions generically that we got, because now any deck can just play Dark Magician and then use the curtain to go search for the Gaze of Timaeus. Not saying that that's necessarily a good interaction for the state of the game's health, but you know what? It's an honest day's meta change within the space. So that means that we've had decks like Yummy out here that have been exploring this whole idea of splashing the curtain in to be able to get a Dark Dragoon. Yes, I know, Yummy totally deserves to have a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon on their infield to be able to do crazy stuff with. But that's the splashability of this package. But that's not the only thing that's happening with Dark Magician right now. We just have a lot of good support around this. And for the first time in, I think, years, Dark Magician is at least tier 2, enough to be able to compete with the meta. And I've seen Dark Magician doing very well. But unfortunately, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon is he's carrying a lot of the heavy baggage, because a lot of decks just don't have a way to out a big attack point monster. But it's a good thing to see that Konami is actually emphasizing, this meta change and is accepting of this. Now, that brings me to, I mentioned Yummy here. Let's talk about the Kuribo interactions that have been happening here. So the multiplying Kuribo, I originally, and I'll own up to it, I said I didn't think that this card was good. But the OCG really kind of proved me wrong with this. And so you can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. So when an opponent's monster declares an attack, or your opponent activates a monster effect, we can special summon this card from your hand. So any interaction they have, it's a free chum block, free special, sure. But once per turn, when your opponent's monster attacks during damage calculation, or when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, you can add to your hand to special summon a Dark Magician, or a monster with 3,000 attack and 200 defense from the deck or graveyard, and then you can change the opponent's monster's attack to 0. Things I would like to mention with this, getting another Kuribo to your hand to further use with this is kind of broken, actually. And I actually think that that's kind of the thing. Now, they have been playing the other recent Kuribo promo that came out in Japan, which I believe has more targeting protection on it. But a lot of these lists have been trying to play these new Kuribo cards to kind of, make the deck seem a little bit more consistent. Now, if you're trying this mini package, don't play it against Mitsurugi. I think that was something that the OCG was talking about recently. It was like, the card is very good for being able to do its thing. Also, the one you're combining this with is the detonating Kuribo. It says, if a Kuribo monster is on the field, special summon this from the hand, puts 2 monsters on the field. And when your opponent activates monster effect, you can equip this card you control to that opponent's monster as an equip spell with this effect. Equip monster's effect is negated. So you're getting a multi-layering negation with this. Man, this is actually really, really cool. But not every deck is playing the detonating Kuribo. It's just, they're usually playing the multiplying Kuribo just because it works out a little bit better. Malice. Oh my god, I thought Malice was supposed to be gone at this point. What is happening that this deck keeps coming back? Well, we got the brand new ritual monster, the Cyberse Code Magician, which, okay, so you can ritual summon it with a Signet Ritual, and you can only use the first second effects this card's name once per turn. So if a link monster is on your field, would be used as link material for a Cyberse monster, this card in your hand can also be used. Oh, so it's just another extender for Malice to be able to use. Oh, you cut me off? Okay, well, now I can just use this in my hand with my Link 2 to get further along into my combo, which is important. And then, if this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, you can activate this effect, cancel off some for the rest of the turn except for Cyberse, and send a Cyberse monster from your deck to the graveyard. Oh, you're telling me that I can send a Dot Scraper or something. It's almost like Konami limited or banned probably one of the better Malice cards to print a main decked card that, dare I say, does a similar notion of that. Yeah, Malice has become a lot more consistent as of late. And I'm like not surprised to see that. The only thing I'm worried about is like, where does the end of Malice end? You know, at what point does the OCG have to just stop this deck from just growing out of control? Because I feel like at this point in time, we've just got meta pains from Malice being so consistent. And do I think that this card's going to see play in the TCG side? Oh, yeah. 100%. You can bet that the TCG is going to look at this card and they're going to be pretty excited about it. I don't really blame them for that either, because consistency for Malice is right. The WP Fancy Ball. You know, I saw a lot of talk about this card when it first initially came down, but the argument was, will it see play because it's a Link 3? Do we really want to dedicate that much support to it? So remember, it's 2+ effect monsters. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field or graveyard, you can banish this card that was, or you can banish a special summon card this turn until the end phase, negate that effect, and if you do, banish it. And during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, immediately after this effect resolves, you can Link summon a Link monster, and if this card you control be used Link material for that Link summon, you can also use a Link to or lower your opponent controls. You know what's really crazy, and well, of course, another player can activate the effects of Link monsters in response to this card's activation. Against Malice, this card's kind of funny, because like if they try to like start to build a board, you can just bump your opponent's Link monster with this, and then just make something that is inconveniencing for them to have to deal with. And I think that that's a little bit funny. This card kind of just does a lot for the decks in general. I think one of the big culprits that was trying to use this was like Mitsurugi over the weekend, because every Mitsurugi list I looked at had Fancy Ball rolling around in it. But this is what happens when you print generic good stuff cards. Now, I mean, it's been a little while since, we've had like a good generic Link 3. I'm not going to say Nightmare Unicorn wasn't good, but I mean, like, times have kind of changed in the meta direction for like these good stuff cards. I mean, never forget Boral End. Or Boral Sword being the OTK monster, Access Code Talker being the game ender. I mean, like, we've had good staple cards, but, like, times have shifted around here, and you are seeing, you know, different meta cards needing to be developed. So, this is just one of those cases. And then we have the Possessed Residence Wyynn. This card actually caught me off guard, actually seeing play over the weekend, because I didn't think that there was anything that was initially wanting to play this, because it's a spellcaster plus a Wyynn monster in order to make this. Like, even if you're choosing to play this as a super poly target, like against, you know, Dark, I guess against Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, you could technically use this. You just have to supply a Wyynn monster to make it. But what, on Fusion Summon, you can place a Wyynn monster from your graveyard at the bottom of the deck, target a monster opponent controls, take control of it. During your opponent's turn, you can target 2 cards on the field, including a Wyynn monster you control, and place them on the bottom of the deck. I mean, I guess this card can technically dip out, but they're using this as a super poly target right now. It's just interesting. The choices of meta development. I mean, once again, you know, you gotta look at how the meta has shifted around so much in some of these different decks. You know, if I can't beat a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, for example, then, you know, is there a way to handle it, you know, that makes it so that I can safely answer it? Those are the things that you've kind of got to look at when you're looking at the meta developments here and making these decisions, you know. And I don't really blame people for, you know, being scared of some of these cards, but I do think that this card actually does have some decent application. It's just, will we see more of these sorts of cards, though? It's kind of what I'm interested in. So please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.